And let's start this one. We're back with our favorite bottle with a flexing bicep, which only means one thing. We're back with one of my favorite topics, which is PEDs. Might not be the favorite for you guys, but I just have to please my own soul. So if you'll excuse me, I will just notoriously pump my chest up to look a little bit athletics, just so that I can have something to be deflated back to normal within the next 10 seconds or less. So today's topic is again it's about something that I was again ranting in my own head, and I just decided to share this with y'all out there because I'm not selfish and I wish to share my monologues. So here's the deal. Again, we have in terms of confession or in terms of people who claim different things about the efficiency of PEDs, we have these two camps with people saying that the multiplying factor is tremendous. It is it's helping them go up by 50%, 100%. They're doubling, tripling their gains, their lifts, their numbers, their performance in general. Hence the P in the PED. So we have those guys, and also we have the opposite guys at the opposite end of the spectrum who swear that all of the things that they're getting are just like a minute advantage. It's just an insignificant percentage that's just giving them the competitive edge in order to put them on par with the other guys who are using, and so on and so forth. But that's if we're lucky for them to even admit, because as we know, nobody admits. I have tons of other videos about these subjects. Feel free to check them out if you're interested in these topics with PEDs and classes of drugs and how they fare into the arm wrestling world. You can go browse my channel and my playlists. So, discarding the guys who are not confessing or whatever, just focusing on these two classes, I have this never-ending debate in my own head, because in my mind, like, if you are using and you're saying that the percentage is indeed big, and those guys, in my opinion, they are the more honest group, because indeed the numbers in performance enhancement are really not that small as people want to downplay them. So those guys who are saying that indeed they recognize the tremendous value, the tremendous added value, I should say. For those guys, I have like a question. So I guess for all of us who went into this sport, and also other sports in general, but precisely for arm wrestling, I guess not even 9 out of 10, I guess 10 out of 10 of us initially, at the very beginning, we went into the sport because we saw that, we were the strongest of the group, of the bunch, in our very small bubble. And the thing that, was, the thing that drew us in was the fact that, it was strength. Okay, so we went into the sport because of the appeal that the strength factor had. You never went there trying to out-trick someone's wrist or whatever. That thing comes later, when you're already seeing that, well, you were the strongest of this bunch, but as you're expanding the bubble, you're no longer the strongest. On the contrary. So yeah, and the gap will just begin to expand endlessly after that point on. I have a lot of videos about this. Search for the condensed gap phenomenon on my channel. Search for a bunch of other videos. I'm explaining all those things in detail. However, back to our point here, and my shoulder just popped. We all went into the sport because of the appeal and the interest that we had, seeing that there's this, there was this phenomenal feeling that we got from seeing that we are strong. Like I said, probably we were the strongest in that small group, whether it was like a circle of friends or class, in school or whatever. And also when we were challenged by bigger, tougher opponents, still the primary drive force that we had was to overcome their strength with our strength, not necessarily with our intellect and skills and technique, whatever. We went in there for like this primal feeling of strength versus strength, and hopefully finally becoming like the dominant whatever alpha male at age 12 or whatever the fuck the case might be. You get the point. So it was always like a strength allure into this whole thing. So now back to my point where the guys are saying, these things are having huge multipliers and whatever. Okay, I totally get it, and I'm absolutely with you on the same page for, and I appreciate your honesty, but I do not. I no longer understand the kick that you're getting out of it, whether you're in the top 100, top 50, top 10, top 5, top whatever number after top. You could very well be number 1. I do not understand, or I begin to lose the understanding of why would you still get a kick out of it, because now all of the all of your benefits are coming from this huge multiplier from PEDs, and yes, you are able to bring your levels up, and yes, it's your internal genetics that have responded to the drugs, and it's your hard work, dedication, and whatever sacrifice that are paying off. But still, the multiplier and the successful synergistic effect that is able to happen, all of these things actually are being enabled by this unlocking thing right here. So this thing unlocks them. So in my opinion, it is no longer your win. I have, again, a lot of videos about PEDs where I discuss a lot of things, including this thing about the genetics and the hard work, the dedication, why it's becoming so easy, and why it pays off to be disciplined, hardworking, and dedicated on PEDs versus when you're natural and you only see the bad side effects from training hard and whatever. And also I'm talking about what it means to actually be a genetic freak, or to have good genetics, because it's not just I'm having good genetics because I'm responding to the drugs. It's you have to admit that you have shitty genetics for not having enough of those drugs endogenously, and you have to take them exogenously. So again, if the multiplying factor is that big, is it your win? Is it still your win? Is it still your triumph? And why would you get the kick out of it? Because it's no longer. Yes, you're doing the work, but without things to fix what's wrong with you, not being able to do magic by yourself. Still, I don't think that it's you anymore. Also, the same thing applies for winning in general. but I'll do a separate topic. I'll do a separate video about that, because yeah, I think that a lot of people lose track of what got them into the sport, and like I said, what gets everyone into the sport is the appeal of being strong. But then at some point in time, I have no idea where, we start going sidetrack, and we're just interested in winning, which to me, I mean, winning at all costs, which to me does not make sense, because if I know that I won, although at the end of the day I'm not the strongest and I'm not the best and I did not win fair and square, to me that win is not worth shit. Like if I won, it doesn't have to be PEDs. It can be a variety of things, like elbow fouls or whatever. I made a different video about that as well. Go check it out. So that's the first category of people. Second category of people, which again, in my humble opinion, it's made out of people who not only lie to others, but kind of lie to themselves, thinking that they're great anyway. It's just that they're not that great, and the PEDs are just leveling them. They're bringing their level up to par with the other guys. That final 5 to 10% or 15% before the competition. I beg to differ, but again, I covered that in other videos. It's not the point here. So if we look at those guys, then again, my question still remains. Is it worth it? And in your case, I mean, for those guys, for the first category, is it worth winning if most of the miraculous transformation and results are due to the PEDs? For you, the question is it worth using them? Because at the end of the day, if truly, and you're being honest and you're being objective, and who knows, you might be an exception. Indeed, you might be using just for the added benefit of 5 to 10% or whatever. In this case, it still makes you a user. Therefore, is it worth using it for such a small return for your investment? Because you're not clean, morally you're still cheating, and most importantly, in my opinion, you're so close to doing it naturally. So why not just try to push yourself and to push your limits to go that extra mile, if indeed the PEDs are just bringing you that extra mile? So you could say, yeah, but I tried everything and I plateaued here, and still I need to go up 1 or 2 steps. Do it. Try to do it. Even if you won't succeed, still you won't be number 1, but you'll be still amongst the best. You'll be on podiums. You'll be in every conversation around there. For who the top guys are. So in my opinion, I would never give a shit about being number 1 on drugs if I know that I could still be very relevant without the drugs. Honestly, and here I'll just give names for the placements. It's completely disconnected to the drug use topic. So, are you trying to tell me that not being a Dennis or Levon or Michael Todd or Devon would not be, it wouldn't be enough for you, and being a Jerry Cadaret or Marcio Barboza or Matt Mask would still not be good enough for you? Just to be there right in the line? Do you necessarily need to be like the top guy? If indeed you're in this category where the difference between using and not using is just this much, again, try to keep things separated, please. Like I said, I just gave the names because those guys are number 1 versus the guys that are number 2, 3, 4, 5, into the list. So, would you not like to be like a Matt Mask or like a Jeff Hale or like a I don't know, RVJ or whatever, just because you're not number one and you're anywhere between number 2 and 5 or even 10, I would be so happy to know that I would have even the smallest chances of remotely getting close to any of those significant positions. Doesn't matter where. If people already know about me and I'm bringing some sort of relevance to the sport, that would be a dream come true for me. So the extra mile would not even make any sense anymore. Not that it does right now, but it would never be in the equation. Again, at the end of the day, in my opinion, what brought us all into the sport was what we thought we could achieve by ourselves, because it's, at the end of the day, it's a battle of the egos, but the ego has to keep itself in check and realize that it is only winning as long as it is winning. It's not winning if it's being held by A, B, C, D, E, F. So it's a very tricky thing to convince your ego of of the fact that it has to stay like a clean and morally just ego, because this type of ego persuasion in general goes hand in hand with like a lot of shady practices, just so that in the end the ego can triumph and just reign supreme, I guess. Alpha male dominance, whatever you can call it, whatever you want to. It is just a very primordial or primal instinct that we all have. But again, in my opinion, it only has value, or it only retains its value as long as you keep it intact. Otherwise, I could be boosted up by chemicals or rules or loopholes, or in any other venture in life, you could be helped by other people or circumstances or whatever. If in the end it was like a huge machine working for you just so that you can get on top, to me, being on top no longer means jack shit. But again, that's just me. And like I always say when I'm discussing topics like these, with these things right here, with drugs and whatever, this is not to blame anyone. This is not to downplay or belittle any of their achievements for whoever those guys might be. This is actually just meant to engage you guys in a meaningful, friendly, and constructive and civilized conversation. I'm really interested in knowing how you see the situation, how you rank things in your own personal life, what is more important to you, what is not, what would you sacrifice for things like winning or whatever, what ticks you off, what motivates you to do certain things, and what are your thresholds for let's say morality or significance or any of these things that I just discussed in this video. So please, if you liked this video, just give it a thumbs up. If you disliked it, give it a thumbs down, but twice. Like I always say, hate, troll, subscribe. I can't really say unsubscribe because none of you are subscribed. So just engage with me, please, and let's keep the ball rolling, because in my opinion, these are meaningful topics to discuss, but not to make a whole deal, or I should say ordeal, out of them. So don't go berserk over this subject. Don't start fights. Like I said, I'm just trying to engage in friendly and constructive conversations. I don't care if you're at the complete opposite side of the spectrum in terms of opinion. With me on this, I don't care. I'm actually looking forward for having like counter arguments and whatever. So don't be shy and let me know what y'all think. And until next time, whatever is saying bye-bye.